From brain fog to hot flashes,
mood swings to mystery symptoms,
we're asking the big question.
Can I blame it on menopause? Join us as we share stories, laugh through the chaos, and talk about things women wish they'd known sooner.
It's honest, it's relatable, and it's about time.
Hey, we're in New York City right now, living the dream. And we're having a Cosmo at a bar in a hotel. And we're both experiencing some hot flashes right now.
For sure.
Hold on, there's some New York Ranger fans walking through.
And they don't appear to be having hot flashes.
They're all young and they're excited because their team won today. Go Rangers.
Go Rangers.
So let's talk about it. Let's get into it. Let's get into the nitty gritty. Ooh. Bananas.
Cheers.
I've decided that I say bananas way too often, and that's wild, and that's crazy.
You use that regularly, bananas?
I do.
Okay, so I don't say just bananas.
That's bananas.
But I say that's bananas.
Yeah, that's bananas. I do that too.
No, let's go bananas.
I've never said let's go bananas. I typically say that's bananas. We made friends with the bartender. My dad would be so proud of us because he always said tip well, tip often, and be friendly. Really? I added to be friendly. I'm pretty sure he probably meant that. I've noticed recently, my friend, that you call it Perry. You've named it Perry. You do.
So Perry's like a character now in my life.
Can we blame it on Perry?
Yes.
Whenever you say Perry, I think of the guy from Journey. Don't stop believing.
Yeah, so, but like he was cooler than this is, because like this Perry is
not a fan. He's a jerk, yeah. Some of my biggest gripes with Perry is the dry lips.
Yes.
Inner ear itches.
Oh my gosh, well, of course I have Q-tips, and I keep Q-tips in my desk because I use Q-tips to scratch my inner ear during the day.
That's so smart. And I've noticed my hip hurts. My right hip will just randomly hurt, and I've done some research. When I say research, I mean Google.
Yeah,
Dr. Google, yeah. And it's a common complaint amongst women.
Yeah.
Joint pain.
Yeah, well, but I thought mine was weight related.
I did too at first, but
it could be both.
It could be both.
Can we blame this on menopause?
Can we? I'm going to.
I'm going to.
I've noticed too, and I don't know if it's because the population is growing older or it's just because that's where I'm at. I have noticed so many ads all of a sudden about menopause. There's going to be an Oprah special about menopause.
I saw that.
And I really enjoy that because there was a stigma that surrounded menopause up until very recently that you don't talk about it, you go through it silently.
The change.
The change, yeah. You go through it, you suffer through it, you don't talk about it. And what I get mad about is like people joke about it.
Yeah.
Like here I am at 48 years old and I'm no longer joking about menopause because I'm in the trenches. Hot flashes, moodiness. My husband can attest to the moodiness.
Insomnia.
Oh my God, the insomnia.
Night sweats.
I don't really have the night sweats so much as the insomnia.
The night sweats are really bad. Do you cuddle with Tim?
We do not, because you know what's funny is when we first started dating and first were married, like he was always the one that was hot. Windows open, fans on. Now it's kind of swapped. Whereas I want to open a window in the middle of December in Iowa, and he's like, "Can we close that window?"
Yeah. So I think kind of the same actually, because Jimmy was the same way. But we're big cuddlers.
Are you?
We are.
Has this affected it?
It has, to a degree. But we're not we don't cuddle all night.
Right.
But I will tell you, it's really gross because we will fall asleep cuddling, and I'll be like laying on his chest, and he doesn't sleep with a shirt on.
So you're stuck to him?
And no, it's not even stuck. It's so wet. It's like I slide off of him. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And I'm horrified. And he's like, it's fine. It's fine. Like he understands. Like it doesn't gross him out. It grosses me out. And you know what's really crazy? Okay, so you're 48 and I'm almost 42. Everybody tells me I'm too young.
Even at 48, I get that. You're too young.
Annoying.
You're too young. Well, tell that to my body because there's a furnace in there.
Absolutely. My doctor actually confirmed it that I was in peri.
Did you have a blood test?
I did. I did all kinds of blood work, and he checked my hormone levels, and we talked about all the symptoms that I was having. And he was like, I think we need to talk about peri.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So,
and my mom went through it.
At an early age?
She was like 40 when like the onset of it started.
That's early too.
I know.
I don't really want to like give away other people's situations in my family, but I will say that I'm going through this in a different way than my mom and my sister.
Really?
So, well, I'm experiencing it in a different way, and to ask them questions, they will say, I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't do that.
So an interesting thing with me is that I had a hysterectomy in 2019. So I was 2019, so I was like 36.
Sure. Sounds good. I can't do math right now.
I know that's
2 Cosmos in.
I know, right? Very strong Cosmos. So I was like late 30s. We'll just call it like mid to late 30s. So I am experiencing these things only hormonally because I have my ovaries. So I don't I know my mom can't really help me well because my mom experienced it fully naturally.
Got you.
And I am not.
And I know that there's so much research out there about hormone replacement therapy that can cause cancer in the past.
Scared.
I'm not sure if they've changed things, but
I'm kind of scared.
Yeah.
To do that.
Yeah, me too. I just wonder, I feel like there's so little actual research out there. I feel like women's health issues are not studied at the same rate.
No.
And we're not treated at the same way. It's just something that every woman goes through, is what you've always heard. And I feel like that's an injustice because the quality of life could be so much better. I'm not saying my quality of life isn't good. I'm just saying
well, there's no answers.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is that you're just told,
that's what happens.
yeah, this is just how it goes.
This is where you are now.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's very frustrating. And it's not even my doctor, by the way, shout out to Dr. Capelli in Missouri. Amazing guy. He's amazing. He will sit and answer any questions I have, but there's not a lot out there. So even the doctors don't have a lot to work with in terms of women in menopause.
I've also wondered too, at this point, am I still supposed to be going to a gynecologist? I'm not in the part where I'm having babies. I'm not really concerned about birth control anymore. Do I just go through these things with my GP?
In my opinion, no.
You still think a gynecologist?
Go to OBGYN. Because that's the GYN part of it, right?
Yeah.
We did the OB part.
Right.
But I went to mine when I had my recent health scare.
Yeah.
He's so much better than any GP I've ever had.
I would agree with that. I really liked my gynecologist. She left, and I left the practice that I was going to, and I really liked her a lot. And so now I have to switch to a new person. It'll be interesting. The next appointment.
Me.
Yeah. I liked her a lot. I went to her for 10 years, and she left and went to another practice out of network, of course. So I can't switch to her. That's the other thing. It's such an intimate doctor visit that you get to know somebody and you're comfortable with that person.
Right.
And now I have to switch.
That's devastating, I feel like. Especially because, my doctor, he delivered my last 3 babies. But I know, looking at him now, retirement is on the forefront.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to retire, tomorrow. But I know that's coming. And what am I going to do? Because he is easily the best doctor I've ever had.
I don't know. I'll let you know because my next appointment is in a couple months. Well, actually in a month. But yeah, it'll be interesting because I really liked the doctor I had. She was very, shoot from the hip, very honest and very...
and thorough?
Oh my God. She's the one that found out that I had that tumor on my pituitary gland.
Okay.
Which is common, but she actually... diagnosed it and was concerned about it actually.
Right. And did the work. I feel
she did.
That's what it,
she did.
And that could be a whole nother podcast as far as how we run into issues of not doing the work.
Yeah.
But that's how I feel. My doctor's very thorough and he does the work, and that's how he did not blow me off when I was I feel like I'm losing my mind.
Yeah.
I can't sleep. I'm gaining weight at a rapid pace.
I feel like all you have to really do is look at this plate of French fries, and that's 5 pounds.
Easily.
Yeah.
And so I went to a GP who was just eating right.
Yeah.
Eating right and exercise will do that. And I'm except it isn't. I don't eat that bad.
Yeah.
So I'm okay, I shouldn't be gaining weight at the rapid pace I am. And when I told my OBGYN, he was just let's do a full blood panel. I don't want to do just a regular, I want to do all of it. I want to check, we'll check your thyroid. We'll check all the things that could be contributing to that.
Which probably isn't it, because I had that same thing.
And it wasn't.
No, it's because you're old and you're...
Well, and that's what so then I thought he would come back and be well, this is just how it is for you now. But he wasn't. That's when he said, I think we need to really start discussing perimenopause.
do you also feel, and this is probably going to sound stupid, but like I had my baby and I knew I didn't want to have any more babies. But do you also at a certain point realize this is nature's way of telling you you're done? You're not going to have any more babies. You're old. You've moved past the birthing point. I feel like it's like you're looking at it old timey. Like you're the person they're going to put on a boat and just shove you out.
Well, I think it's absolutely nature's way of saying you're done having babies. I think that's actually in
and
fact
I'm
what
not
it is.
saying that I want to at 48 years old. I'm just saying, like, in the back of your head, you're always like, oh shit, could I be pregnant? And now you're like, nah, fuck it, I'm old. There's no way I'm pregnant.
Well, yeah. Oh, but I will tell you though, funny story. So my grandma, she's a menopause baby.
Oh.
Her mom thought she was going through menopause. She was my age. 42 was my age. And thought she was going through menopause. And turns out it was my grandma. I'm like, so that, but I don't think that menopause equates old. I think that because of the lack of educating and the lack of information, we equate it with old.
Yeah, I think that's right.
And I think that's what we're trying to change here, Bo.
I think so too.
Let's change the narrative.
I think so. I love that, actually. I really do, because I feel like there are so many things out there that are telling us we're old, telling us that
put us out to pasture.
Yeah, we're no longer the people in our 20s who dictate what's going to happen. We're like, we're supposed to be the people in the back seat just going with the flow.
But this should be the prime of our life.
Agreed. Like, we've got money now. We're all adults. Our kids are older.
Yep.
Ooh, another. We should have a thing every time we say the same word. Cheers.
Do we drink?
Yes.
Oh man.
If you're out there listening and we say the same word, you better have a drink. I don't care if it's a
drinking
Coke,
game.
Coke, a coffee, or a Cosmo. Coke, coffee, a Cosmo. You better take a drink.
Take a drink.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't look at it as I guess in a way, I don't know. I really enjoy the fact that I feel like more and more people are talking about it, and I don't know if it's because I'm in the throes of it and I'm cognizant of it, or people are now taking a stand and saying this is a topic that's no longer taboo. This is something that you can talk about openly and not be ashamed of it.
I agree. I think that there's a mixture of both. I think that we're more aware of it because we're in it.
Yeah.
And we're more aware of it because now all of our targeted ads are about menopause because we've been researching how to start a menopause podcast.
And all of our friends are, what I figured out too was I met up with a bunch of high school friends in Phoenix in January, and I mentioned that we were going to be doing this, and they're all like, oh my God, I have so many questions. And how awesome is that like across the country in your own little friends group, like we're all dealing with it, and we all have questions.
Yeah.
Who do you turn to? Because your mom, if your mom is the same age as my mom, is in the generation where you don't talk about it. You just deal with it. And I think
so. That's interesting to me because my mom will talk about it. But I think my mom, a lot of ways, she just kind of, because of their generation being very, like, you just kind of pull up your bootstraps and deal with it.
Yeah.
So she's very much like, yep, another perk. That's what I've grown up with, like, because we talked about even periods. Like, just another perk of being a female.
That's an interesting point you raised, because we both have daughters that are on the other end of the spectrum.
Uh-huh.
Isn't that interesting that we're dealing with the beginnings and also the ends at the same time?
I know, and it's not fun.
No.
Because let me tell you, when her puberty and my peri clash, we have to be separated. It's not very good.
Yeah. What's funny is I do feel like the symptoms are similar.
Very much so.
I get very moody, and she
hurts my feelings.
And I wonder too if that's because where we are. Like, would you normally have your feelings hurt?
No.
Or
I'm
they
pretty tough.
hurt? Yeah. I would agree with that. Yeah.
But I think too, she used to be a lot nicer.
I don't doubt that. I think raising a daughter, like, there should be some pin that we should wear that let people know.
And it's hard too because you want them to be strong. We know what the world looks like to be a woman.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I want you to take this fire
and independence and
and I want you to take that into your adult life and just blaze yourself a trail. But not with me, Kay?
Yeah, I'm still your mom. I'm still your mom.
Yeah.
I would agree with that 100%. And then your poor husband is in between both of it.
Yeah.
Like he's got this crazy daughter who's going through her version, and I'm going through mine, and he's just trying to survive.
He really is.
Survive. Southern Molly.
Do they just find projects to work on? I feel like Jimmy just finds things
Tim's outside
to do.
a lot. Yeah,
they find things to work on. It's smart, actually. Very smart.
I don't blame him 100. I don't blame him 100.
Not 100. I don't either.
That's two Cosmos in, by the way.
That's a question for me, though. That raises a question.
Yeah, we should interview them.
Here's my first question. We should. That would be a great idea. My first question for can we blame this on menopause, right? Which is, I guess, is not quite that. But how does your husband handle you with these changes?
Well, first of all, my husband is very, very nice and very, very. I
have met him. He's very nice.
I would say he's tolerant. Like I can have a moment, and then an hour later, I can say, you know what, I'm really sorry. I was super bitchy right there. I'm sorry. He's like, you were.
Oh yeah.
But in the throes of it, in the throes of it, he just takes it. Like and I don't know. I feel bad afterwards, but and it's not like, and I even feel like as you're doing it. As you are freaking out on him for something stupid, such as like you left a sock on the floor, and you're freaking out, you know in the back of your head, this is the dumbest thing to like freak out about.
Okay, so new idea, part of segment. Can I blame this on menopause? Something that you've done recently, some crazy freak out. Was it legit or was it menopause? I already have one in my head. I already know.
I can't think of anything in particular, but I would 100% say most of the things that I freak out about is menopause. I cannot think of a single thing that warrants the reaction that I have had.
Okay, so you're not emotional. Like, you're not a big emotional person.
I'm really not.
Okay, so I'm not emotional. Like, Perry has made me a crier.
Fucking Perry.
I hate it.
Can we just call him Steven? Isn't his name Stephen Perry?
I mean, yeah.
Let's just call him Steven.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Steven's fine. So I fucking hate Steven.
He's an asshole.
Yeah, he makes me cry a lot. And I never used to be a crier because honestly, like in my house, like crying was kind of like a weakness. Like you didn't really cry. Like,
I would agree with that.
And I say my house because like honestly, it really probably wasn't my house. It was like the generation.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, that it was kind of like crying doesn't solve anything. It's not going to fix anything. Like suck it up, you'll be fine. So
why are you crying?
Right. Yeah. I'll give you a reason to cry.
Oh, yeah.
So I really am not a crier, but like I have become one.
At the dumbest things.
At the dumbest
movies and shows that I never would have cried about before.
Ridiculous things.
Yeah.
Somebody could like tell a story and I find my eyes welling up and I'm like, get yourself together.
It's so embarrassing.
It's so embarrassing. I hate it.
I have some street cred, you know.
I know, right? And I'm like, I'm a tough bitch.
Yeah. Don't make me cry.
Don't mistake this for weakness. This is fucking
AT&T commercials. Who stop it? Are there even AT&T commercials anymore?
I don't know. I don't like watch commercials. I don't either.
But anyway, those used to make me,
So, and I shouldn't say that because, you know, if we ever get sponsored, we're going to need commercials.
That's a good point.
So just kidding. I love commercials. You should sponsor us. Anyway, I freaked out on my family about deodorant. Hear me out. And also, I feel like an important detail is that this was at 7 a.m.
Okay.
So, as you know, but our listeners may not know yet, I have 3 teenage sons and a prepubescent daughter, and then my husband.
It's a full house.
Full house. So my teenage sons and my husband, they wear the same kind of deodorant, like same brand. However, 2 of them can only use antiperspirant. 2 of them can only use deodorant because they have chemical reactions to them. And there was a point in time where I felt like I was spending $3.5 billion on deodorant.
It is expensive, actually.
It's very expensive. And then it got to a point where I'm like, why am I always buying deodorant? Like, are we eating the deodorant? Are we losing the deodorant?
Is it the gel kind?
No. That's what's even worse. So I found myself getting frustrated. And the problem is, for one, I didn't voice my frustration. The next part was that as I continued to suppress it And they would come to me and be like, hey mom, I need deodorant. Or like my husband would add it to our shopping list for himself. And I'd think, why are we buying deodorant again? And by the way, we buy it in bulk.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like,
Sidebar. I don't think I buy deodorant for myself that often.
no.
I think it lasts quite a while.
And I gotta tell you, that's another thing we can talk about Perry. I am noticing a change in what I need for deodorant. I get stinky. Like my pits get stinky. It's weird. And I think it's because I sweat so much. I wonder if I'm sweating through my deodorant.
No. I did read something recently that said that you smell differently when you sweat now.
Well, I didn't know that meant you would stink.
No, it's a different,
It's
like,
weird.
yeah,
You
it's
know,
like
you
a
know
weird
how I have
hormone.
smells.
It's a weird hormone smell.
Hormones.
That's the word.
Two cosmos.
Two cosmos hit.
So I melted down. It was my breaking point at 7 a.m. like on a Tuesday morning. One of my sweet, sweet boys comes up and says, hey mom, I need deodorant. Very innocent.
He didn't know what was about to happen.
I'm the provider. He comes to me because I buy these things. He didn't know what was coming, Molly. He didn't know what was coming. And I melted the fuck down.
On him or in general?
In general. It led me into a tangent of like no return. I couldn't come back from it. There was a point in my mind as I'm like melting down. By the way, it's dark outside. That's how early it is. Like the kitchen light is the only light we have in the front room as I'm melting down about deodorant. And my sweet firstborn, who honestly, I mean, I don't mean that sarcastically, very sweet soul. He takes his brothers and takes them to school. And he reported this later, knew better than to say anything in the moment. Tells me on the way to school, they were like, was mom really crashing out about deodorant at 7 a.m.? Like, my brain's not awake. But I was like, it was so ridiculous, but I couldn't stop it. It was like a hole in the boat. Like water was just rushing in and there was no going back.
And Jimmy was gone by this point?
No. He was there watching the whole thing transpire and saying no thanks. He's just watching me. He's like sitting there and he's letting me just rant because he knows better. Like I need to just rant and get it out of my system. And then like to the boys, like they're exchanging like knowing glances behind my back, which I didn't know. If
I said that would have set me off.
I would have killed them.
Yeah.
But I'm like, and they're just like, you know, he's like nodding, you know, or shaking his head, you know, like looking at him, and they're just like looking at him like, what the fuck? And he's just like, you know, subtle, like, no, just let her go. Just let her go.
She'll flame out.
It's okay. Just let her burn out. It burns hot, but it burns short. Let it go. And then only after the fact, they all go to school. Like I send them all out the door.
Isn't that the worst though?
It's the worst.
When you like freak out on your kid right before school, and then you're like, great, the whole day, that's what they're going to be thinking. But in reality,
it's not true.
No,
it's
but
the whole
you
day I was
do.
thinking.
Yeah, absolutely.
I send them a message at like 10 a.m. that day to the whole, we have a family group chat, and I send them a message, and I'm like, I'm really sorry that I freaked out about deodorant. It wasn't about deodorant. Like, I do feel like we gotta reel it in a little. Like, why are we using so much deodorant? But my freak out was unwarranted. And they left, and I literally sat there and I'm annoyed, and I'm just like, God, this drives me crazy. And then I'm like, did I just melt the fuck down about deodorant? Fucking deodorant?
I just think as moms who work, going through menopause, perimenopause, if you will. Steven. It's a lot. Like, who knows what the next trigger is going to be. It doesn't matter. It could be something that you love, and all of a sudden your husband may say, hey, do you want teriyaki chicken tonight? And fuck teriyaki chicken.
You know how much I fucking hate it. Why would you suggest that?
So, you know what's funny is I never thought about it before until you brought it up, but like, not only is it our ride, but those poor fuckers are along for the ride too.
They are. Okay, so, and again, I know we don't want to out like everybody's personal stories. But like, did you feel that as a kid growing up?
No, not at all.
So I did. Like I can remember, but not in the way you think. Like I thought my mom would go off the rails. Like I really I was like almost preparing for that. And she didn't. At least not like with us, but she did with my stepdad.
Do you think, like grandparents, let's say, let's go back a little bit further.
Go back another generation.
That was even a topic of discussion, or do you think they went through that secretly and their husbands just went off to work, came back from work, and like they never talked about it. I'm sure they saw changes in them, but do you think it was ever discussed?
No. Their husbands went off to the local tavern.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's why guys after work would like, fuck it, I'm not going home yet.
Yeah.
I don't know what's in store for me when I get home.
Right.
Besides the beef stroganoff. Like,
Right. But I think that men, like, in that time, the power was so shifted.
I do too.
Men were in control. So women just had to suffer in silence because it was just like, get it the fuck together. You're a fucking housewife. You clean this house, take care of these children, and make dinner for your husband.
Meanwhile, looking like June Cleaver.
Absolutely.
But I wonder too, and I don't even want to make this about the men because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who are sympathetic to the men, and there probably are podcasts for men who are suffering through it, but like,
But I'll be honest, I'm sympathetic to the men too.
no, I am too, but at the same time, this is our fight. Like, so much for women's lives is based on their husbands or what men think, and this is our experience, and like, let's not like water that down. Like, this is what we're going through, and
Absolutely not.
no, and I don't want to like make it about our kids, make it about our spouses. Like, this is like what we are going through, and god damn it, we deserve a moment where we can like
Have our voices heard.
yeah, and feel sorry for ourselves and like
answer some
and
fucking
questions. Yeah,
Drink.
yeah, CCC.
But seriously, like, because I feel like that's what it boils down to, and that's why we want to do this.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
we want to find the answers to these questions.
Absolutely.
There are so many women just like us
Absolutely.
who are finding themselves, looking at themselves in the mirror like, what the fuck is going on with me?
And like, I don't want to have to resort to Google. I don't want to have to like WebMD. Like, is this normal? I want to be able to have an open and frank conversation because, like I said, it's not a taboo topic.
Yeah.
This is a topic that I'm going through. Like, when I was in my 20s, would I have cared what a dry lip feels like or inner ear? No. Who fucking cares when you're 20 years old? You've got your own issues. This is our time, Goonies. This is our time. This is our time to
showing our
just.
age, really,
We really are, to figure out like, is this fucking normal or like, is this a cause for concern? And I don't want to have to Google. I would love to start a hotline, honestly, start a hotline and have women call other women. If they don't have women in their life who are experiencing the same things, be able to call a hotline, be able to do a chat and say, you know, for like 3 nights in a row, I have not slept.
Yeah.
And then they can talk to another woman, be it in their same city, different state, different country, and be like, yeah, girl, I haven't slept. Yeah, girl.
So, yeah, girl.
I haven't slept.
Where is, like, this is something that is very prevalent because we were just discussing this. We were just talking the other day about like our daughters going through puberty videos, right, at school. Like schools educate.
Oh my God,
all
the
these
videos,
kids,
the
right?
videos.
They do these videos, and we suffered really through the same videos, same uncomfortable thing. But it was to educate us on what to expect, right? Like we were told, like, this is what's going to happen. Like, your body's changing. These are the things that you can expect. Where the fuck is that for menopause? Because in my mind, I was like, menopause equates fucking crazy. No periods and you get crazy. That's what I just was like preparing for.
And you're like going through the day, like the other day when we did our presentation for work, and I'm like, oh my fucking God, I'm having a hot flash right now, but I have to do this presentation and act normal.
Yes.
Meanwhile, my socks are wet from sweating so much. I really
My face
think
is flushed.
My face is flushed. That's the embarrassing part. People can see it. And you know the other thing, to do a tangent here, to other people, it's funny. Oh, she's going through the change. No, I need a band of sisters. You know, there's a band of brothers, the whole movie about World War II.
Yeah,
There
my
needs to
husband
be
loves that. Band of
I did too,
sisters.
actually. There needs to be a band of sisters where
like
we
that.
can, like, I don't care if it's 2 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, can I chat somebody and be like, dude, I am in it right now.
Yeah.
And some other woman can be like, I hear you.
Yeah.
How can we get through this together?
Absolutely. And knowing like the things that are a direct result of menopause.
Yeah.
Things like, did you ever consider that having an itchy inner ear was a menopausal symptom?
No, and like,
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that until we talked. Remember, we were like, I think that's the first thing I brought up was the itchy or the dry lips, right?
Yes.
And then you're like, oh my God, me too. And then you said, and then I said, did you know itchy ears was a thing? You're like, oh my God, I deal with that.
Like, I have that all the time.
And then I remember laying in bed one night, I'm like, man, my hip hurts. I've never had problems with my hip. I Googled it, and it was, common thing, joint pain. And it makes sense because your hormones are changing. But like, what other common symptoms are out there that you're dealing with day to day that you don't realize are actually a symptom.
Absolutely. That's what I mean. When I'm like, okay, hot flashes is another one.
But that's the obvious one. That's the
what
one
I'm
that
saying.
everybody knows.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Hot flashes, crazy. Everybody knows menopause is going to cause that. You're going to throw fits. You might cry a lot.
Yeah.
You're going to have hot flashes.
Yeah.
But nobody talks about the itchy inner ear. Nobody talks about the dry lips. Nobody talks about the bad hip or the insomnia.
Oh man, that's the biggest one for me actually. And you know what other thing, like totally get graphic here, is like constantly wanting to have sex.
Why does nobody say that?
No.
You turn into like a horny 14-year-old boy.
I don't know, but it's a thing.
And I'm like,
did you notice too that like
husbands are just holding on for life?
they really are? Does she want to have sex or does she want to murder me? Or maybe it's both. I don't know.
But okay, we'll have sex.
Yeah, and
that's
then
fine.
maybe she'll murder me. I don't know.
You don't have any like physical side effects yet with that, do you? Like dryness
No,
or like
no.
Because I haven't had that issue.
No, I'm worried about that because a friend of mine mentioned
and
that.
that is something that apparently is a thing.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid that's what is to come.
I agree. Haha, very
See what
funny.
I did there?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I wonder about that too, but so far no. There's so much to unpack, and I think this is a really great start.
I do. I think so too.
And I think it's about time to sign off because we gotta go. We're meeting some friends for dinner. We're gonna go get some pizza in Soho, and super excited for what's to come for this podcast.
I am too. I think that we are going to really blaze a trail here.
I do too. I hope that we learn some answers. Our friends out there, friends, that sounds so cheesy. Our listeners.
They're our friends.
All right.
That's fine.
Learn some answers and just be able to like laugh about it along the way.
And build the Band of Sisters.
Band of Sisters.
That's what
I
we
think
need
that'd
to
be
do.
a great t-shirt. Band of Sisters. You know what? There are, we talk about the negatives. There are some pluses to this, I think. We'll discover them along the way because right now, like, the only thing I can think of is like you don't have to buy tampons anymore.
And lots of sex.
And lots of sex, good sex, without the scare of pregnancy.
Yeah.
But I'm sure along the way, and our sisters out there will help us too, that there's some positives to all this.
I think so.
I
think really we just got to find the camaraderie because we're not alone. All these women go through the same
absolutely.
thing. And I think we just have to like break the stigma, right? That's what we're trying to do. Like let's destigmatize this.
Absolutely.
Like, it's very natural
it's
and normal.
It's not a taboo topic.
It's
not
not.
something to be ashamed of.
It's not. Absolutely, it is not. And honestly, this is the prime of our life.
I agree.
And I think we need to embrace it.
Hey, with that, I think that's a really awesome start to this whole thing. And see you next time.
That's right.
Hasta la pasta.